Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel which is Software Testing with Re. This is the 8th video in our SQL Practical Series. Today we'll learn two very powerful categories of SQL functions, which is conversion function and date function. Conversion functions help us to convert values between strings, numbers and dates. Date function help us to work with the time-based data like durations, timelines, deadlines or next event. So let's get started. In an e-commerce or retail system, we'll use an orders table that include order ID, customer name, order date, amount, that is total cost, and delivery status. This will give us real world context to kind of easily understand conversion and date functions. So let's first create our orders table. So we'll create table orders, and then we'll fill in our columns, which is order ID of type number, then is customer name or name of type varchar2 of length 50. Next is order date of type date. Next is amount, which is of varchar2 length 20. Next is delivery status. Of type varchar2 length 20. Now let's run this and create our table. So you see our orders table is created. Let's see the structure. So we'll write describe and then orders, and let's run this. So this is our structure, which is we have columns like order ID, customer name, order date, amount, delivery status, and these are the data types of these columns. Now let's see what is inside our table. So it should be empty, right? Because we haven't added anything or any data into it. So we'll write select star from orders, and let's run this. So you see it's empty, there is nothing. So now let's insert some data into this. So we'll write insert into orders values, and let's say the customer ID order ID is 101, name of the customer is Alice, and we'll use toDate function, and then we'll write the date, which is 20. Let's say the date is 1st December 2023, so we'll write 12 2023 1201, and we want it in the format of year, month and date, and let's say we want the amount is $199.99, and then what else? Delivery status is delivered, and that's it. This completes our first uh, in order information. Now let's add two more. Okay, so we'll have order ID 2 and 102 and order ID 103. Name, let's say the name of second customer is Bob and third customer is Charlie. And let's say the order date for the second customer is 10th January 2024. So we'll write 10/01 and 2024. And let's say the order date for second customer is 25th April 2024. So we'll write 25/04/2024. And let's say the amount is 299 dollars 50 cents for second order, and the status is pending. And for the third order, let's say the amount is $350 and the order is shipped, status is shipped. So yes, now let's run this and insert data into our table. So now all the data is inserted. Let's see inside our table. So you see we got 3 order IDs and with 3 customer names, their order date, amount, and delivery status. Now let's start looking into conversion and date functions. So first conversion function that we are going to look is to number. So what to number do actually is it converts text to number. This is useful when data comes in as text and you need to run calculations. So let's see some examples of to number function. So we'll write select to number, and let's say we write any number that was kind of inserted in text. So we'll write 1234.50, and then from dual, and like I mentioned, dual is a virtual table. I mentioned it in our previous video lecture or video. So you see, basically we inserted this as text and it was converted into a number. So we inserted 1234.50 as a text, and now we got 1234.5. And second, let's say now let's try to implement in our orders table. So we can write select order ID, comma, to number, then amount as amount num from orders. What we basically are doing is, like you see, the amount has the type of data type is varchar2, which is actually a text, not a number. And now what we are going to do here is we are going to convert our amount value which is in text to a number, and then let's run this and see what it do. Oh, and there is a spelling mistake, so let's correct it. Number, and now let's run it again. So you see now it converted all the amount values in text into numbers. Now the next function that we are going to look in the series of conversion function is toChar. toChar, and what this function do is it formats numbers or dates as strings. So basically we'll convert numbers or dates to strings. So how we can use it? Let's try one example like uh, from table dual or from dual or our virtual table. So we'll write select to char and then SYSDATE, which is I'm going to talk about SYSDATE in in a few minutes in our date function series. But let's say there is like some SYSDATE or the system date, and we want to see it in the format date, month, and year format. And let's say we write from dual, and let's run this. So you see, today is 10th June 2025. So it converted it into characters or in string. So now let's say we want to apply the same in on our orders table, and we want to format our orders date. So we can write select order ID comma to char and then order date, and we'll write it in the format year, month, date, and as formatted date from orders, which is our table. And let's run this. So you see now we had dates in the format like 2024 hyphen 04 hyphen 25, but we converted them using to char into strings, and now we have our dates in a different format. So to char function is like really helpful when we need to create readable formats for reports or logs. Now let's keep moving, and we see the next function, which is to date. To date. You see, we use this to date function while we were inserting data to our orders table. So let's see how this to date function works. Basically, this converts strings to date, and let's see how it do that. So we'll write select to date, and let's say we write a date in this format. It's 15th August 2024, and now we want to convert it to this format where we have date. Means we want to write it in date, month, year format, and from doer. So we inserted our date in the form of string, and now we are going to get a date from it. So let's run this. So you see, now we got a date based on whatever we inserted. We inserted numbers, but now you see we have like 15 August, which is written in alphabets, and then the year, last two digits of the year. So see one more example of to date function. So basically we are going to convert the given string date into ISO style. So we can write select to date, and then we write 2024. Let's say we are the date we have is 31st December 2024. So we'll write 2024 hyphen 12 hyphen 31, and let's say we want it in year hyphen month hyphen date, and as converted date from duals, and let's run this. So you see we got 31st December 2024. which is different, like ISO date conversion from what we got in the string format is converted to our ISO format. Now let's move to the next function type, which is date functions. So in date functions, first two basically functions we are going to cover are uh, SYSDATE, like I showed you one example here with dual, where we kind of did the output for our SYSDATE in a particular format using two-char function. So now I'm going to share with you how SYSDATE function works, and we are also going to look at current date function date. So let's say we write select SysDate from dual. So what this SysDate actually do is it gives us the current system date. So let's run this. So this gives us 10 June 2025. And now let's try with the current date. So we write select current date from dual, and let's run this. So this also provides us this and for me it's showing same 10 June 2025, but this date particularly depends on the time zone. So let's say someone is working in a different country, let's say in India, and he's accessing uh, the laptop or his system in India. So when he runs the sysdate from his system, he will get his system's date, but like the time zone will be different, and then someone who is working in the US. So the date might change because there is a difference of 10-11 hours in both countries. Now let's check the next function, which is add months. So what it actually do is it adds a month to a date. Why it's helpful, or why we use this add months function? So it helps us calculate delivery timelines or subscription ends or review cycles. So we'll write how we use it. So we write add months. Let's see two examples. One on our dual table and one on orders table. So we'll like add 2 months on today's date. So we can write select add months, and then we write sysdate, which will provide us the today's date, and then we write 2. We are going to add 2 months as result from dual, and let's run this. So you see, today is 10 June 2025, and after adding 2 months, it will change to 2 months addition. That means July and August. So we got 10th August 2025. Now, see, like let's say we want to estimate our delivery time. So for any order, so we can write select order ID add months, and let's say we have order we want to add 1 month to our order date as our estimated delivery date. So we can write as delivery date delivery estimate from orders, and let's run this. Oops, so there is some mistake. There was a spelling mistake in add months, so let's run it again. So you see now what we order entered was like this was the order date, which was 1st December 2023, and now we got 1st January 2024, which is like the estimated delivery date. Similarly, for the delivery order ID order date of 25th April 2024, we got 5th May 2024 as our estimated delivery date. So you see, this is how you can use add months function. Now let's see the next function, which in the date functions list, which is months between. So how we write it? We write it months between, and what it do is it gives us the difference in months. So gets differences in months, and why we are really needed. So this function is really helpful when for calculating durations such as employees tenure or any account's age. So let's try some examples. So first is, let's say we want to calculate months since 1st January 2023. So we'll write select months between, and we'll write SYSDATE, that is today's date, and then to date, because we want to convert string to date, and we write 2023 0101, and we want in the format year, month, and then date from dual. Let's run this. So this will give us the difference in months. So you see, we got 29 months. There is 29 months difference between 1st January 2023 and today's date. And now let's see the second example, which is let's say we want to know the time since the order date. So we can check it like this. So we'll write select order ID, and then we'll write months between, and then we write SYSDATE, because we want to see the months difference between the SYSDATE and order date for each order in our orders table. So we write as months passed from orders, and let's run this. So you see, we got months difference of months between each order date and today's date, in kind of even in the decimal orders of that's contain long decimal list or floating numbers. But the estimate is like for first order there is a difference of 18.3 months. Second order it's exactly 17 months, and the third order is like 13.5 months. So now let's check the next function that we have in date functions list is next day. How we write it? We write it next day, and it helps us to find a specific weekend, next specific weekend specifically. So find the next specific weekend. So let's say why it's useful. It's useful in scheduling, like planning for next working day or shipment. So how to use it? Let's say we want to find next Friday, so we can write it like select next day, and then let's say we write our today's date, which is SYSDATE, and then we are looking for Friday. and as next Friday from dual, and let's run this. So today is Tuesday, so next Friday will fall in 13 June 2025. You see, so this is really helpful in kind of scheduling or kind of any shipment kind of planning kind of things. Now let's apply it on our orders table. So we want to see the next shipping day after the order. So we will look for Monday. So we can write select order ID, comma next day, and then order date, and we'll be looking for Monday, which is like the next shipping day, as next shipping day from orders. And let's run this. So you see, we got all the Mondays around or after the order dates. So now let's look at the next very last function in the date functions list, which is last day. Last day. And which what it do is it gets us the last day of the month. Last day of the month. And why it's useful? It's useful for like month end billing, reporting, or any kind of cut-off date validations. So how do we use it? So let me show you some examples. First is, let's say we want to find current month's end, so we can write select last day, and then we write SYSDATE, which will give us today's date as month end from dual, and let's run this. So you see, we got month end as 30th June 2025, which will be the last day of our month. And let's say now we want to see the order month end. So in our orders table, so we can write select order ID last day order date as order month end from orders. So by mistake I inserted our data twice because of running on this icon for and which ran the whole script. So you'll be seeing like instead of 3 maybe more order IDs, but it will be kind of repeated. So be careful when if you really want to run just one line of script, so you just run put your cursor at the end of one line and then you run it. Otherwise it will run the whole script. So now you see it's repeated 101 is 2 times here, and same is for other orders. But like the last day of the month for each order date, you can see like for December it's 31st December, and for January it's 31st January. So this is how you can kind of mm, uh, find the last day of the month using last date function, which is really useful for month end billing, reporting, or cutoff date validations. Covered today is we covered conversion functions, so which were like here to number, to char. So to number to converts text to number, then to char converts or formats number or date to strings, and then is to date, which kind of converts string to SQL date. And then we came to our date functions, which is SYSDATE current date, which kind of gets us today's date. Next is the add months, which calculates delivery or renewal timelines by calculating or adding months to from to a particular date. Next is months between, which help us find the duration between two dates. And next function is next date, which helps us kind of scheduling next weekdays. And the last function we covered today is last day, which helps us find the month and cutoff. So these functions we are really useful for everyday testing, reporting, or data cleanup tasks. Thank you so much for watching this video on conversion and date functions in SQL. If you found it helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, which is Software Testing with Dri.